Hi, welcome to Mental Health Monday Check-ins with Jamie Lynn. I am Jamie Lynn. So this week's topic is mental health in the workplace and what that looks like. For me, that is toxicity, toxic leadership, toxic coworkers. All of that can really affect your mental health, especially if you're in a profession where you're a helper. Social workers, doctors, nurses, teachers, um, police officers, firefighters. I mean, we are all in professions where it is our job to help others who are in some sort of need. I know for me and the kind of work that I do and the kind of cases that I handle in child welfare, it's really hard. Some days are harder than others. And when you have a toxic environment, it makes it that much harder. It makes it so that you don't want to get up and go to work, but you have to because your clients and these kids count on you, at least for me in my profession. Um, so one thing that I do when I'm faced with toxic leadership, if it's like gossiping is so toxic. It's one thing when you're just talking and you're catching in, like, hey, I've been out for a week. What did I miss? It's another if you're digging into, oh, hey, I heard this about so and so, and have you heard that? And, spill the tea on this. That's so toxic. You may not even realize it at first, but it really is. And so one thing that I recommend is setting a boundary, letting that coworker know, like, hey, you know what? I have a lot of work today. I don't have time. You don't have to be real blunt and say, hey, look, I'm not a gossiper. You can. I've done that before. It's really hard to do because, then you run the risk of hurting feelings, but I'm okay with that. I'm a take it or leave it kind of person. Who I am, what you see is what you get. I do my best to be kind, but at the same time, like, hey, if you just want to sit and gossip, I'm not your person. I'm not perfect. I have found myself talking to friends now and then and talking about someone else, and I'm like, wait a minute, this is not who I want to be. I gotta back up. And anyways, you gotta set that boundary. So you can be blunt about it, or you can just be like, hey, listen, I have a lot of work to do. I just can we check in later? And that kind of lets that person know that, like, hey, maybe this isn't someone who I should be gossiping with, or maybe I shouldn't be talking about someone else at all. When it comes to toxic leadership, how do you set that boundary? Because that's really hard. You can't quite tell your boss, hey, sorry, I don't have time for you today. I wouldn't recommend that because it may not end well for you. If you have a toxic leadership issue, I would recommend talking to HR, talking to, whomever in your department is HR related, maybe looking into some EAP services, some therapy to kind of figure out how best to go about that because you want to keep your job. But it's really hard. So many good people leave their jobs because of toxic leadership. And it's just so unfortunate. It's so unfortunate. Um, Take mental health days. Take some sick time. If you've got some toxicity going on and it's really bogging you down, it is okay to use a sick day. Please use your sick days, especially for mental health. Now, some companies are better than others at receiving those kind of requests when you say, hey, it's a mental health day. And some companies are just like, that, what is that? And I'm sorry if you happen to work for one of those companies that isn't quite, receiving of a mental health day, but use your sick time. You earn it. You have the right to use it. People have fought for the right to have paid sick time off. And even if you don't have paid sick time off, take a day here and there. You deserve it, especially if the atmosphere at work is toxic. Nobody deserves that. Let me know how you deal with a toxic environment. You can send a private message if you don't want to put your business out there. That's okay. I don't want to sit and gossip about, hey, what's happening at this agency and that agency, because that's not healthy for any of us. And that's not what I'm trying to promote. But let me know some tips that you have to overcome toxicity in the workplace. Have a great day.